Hello, and thank you so much for being here. Welcome to the She Means Business podcast, where we bring together badass women business owners, industry leaders, and other aspiring women to celebrate their success and empower you. I am your host, Ashley Mostowski. I'm a business owner, wife, and mom of twin toddlers. Ambitious is my middle name. Join our email list and follow us on Instagram and Facebook. You'll find inspiring content, updates, and the chance to connect with like-minded individuals. Remember to leave a review and share how we've inspired you. Now, let's get to business. Hello, and welcome back to the She Means Business podcast. I have an awesome guest today. I've known her for probably like 3 to 4 years now, both personally, and I use her for business. But my guest today is Whitney Short of Short and Stevens Law. Whitney has been practicing law for 8 years. We actually met at a networking event, networking group, I should say. But she has recently started her own law firm. So I'm super proud of her because that is such an awesome thing to do, to go out and be on your own. And it just so happens to be right across the street from my insurance office. So it's perfect. And now that the weather's cooling down, we might have to take little walks together, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So Whitney, welcome. And thank you for being on the podcast with me. And let the listeners tell them about you and how you became this awesome person that you are.
Yeah, thank you. You're just so kind. I'm not sure how I can live up to all this hype, Ashley. No, but thank you so much for having me. It's always great to be surrounded by people such as yourself. You're an inspiration to me. Anyway, you started on your own long before I started on mine, so thank you for that.
I was crazy enough. Let's just say that.
I don't know about that. You always have to have a little bit of crazy, right?
That's
No,
true.
but also, I mean, you're doing great things, so it was inspiration to me as well. So thank you for that.
Thank you.
But
Yes.
starting from where, I mean, I'll give you a quick bird's eye view of kind of where I came from and how I ended up here. But I was born and raised in a tiny little town in Ohio, population 100. They probably have 110 people now. So it was really itty bitty and everyone knew each other. And I wanted to get out of there. So I ended up in Las Vegas. I went to undergrad in Las Vegas, graduated with communication, Spanish degree. And then after I graduated, I always knew that I wanted to help people, and college was a great place to do that because I could be in a sorority, I could join philanthropic events, I could do all these different things because you have all the time in the world, even though you think you're so busy. And then you grow up and realize, what was I talking about? Anyway,
right?
So I graduated college.
I miss those days.
I know. I wish I was so busy as I was then now, but I digress. Right. It's okay. So I ended up in medical compliance, oddly enough. So I was helping with durable medical equipment. So think like hospital beds and wheelchairs and all of that good stuff that people need when they're injured or permanently disabled. So I was doing that and I got into the compliance side of things, and then I just got bored and I thought I can do more. I know I can do more. So what should I do? And my dad was already an attorney and my sister was already an attorney. And I was like, there's no way I'm going to do that. However,
not following their footsteps.
I did not want to do that. Turns out I did want to do that. So after taking the LSAT, I ended up at UNLV at the alma mater at UNLV, stayed here, went to law school, graduated. And while I was in law school, actually, I was a mediator for one of our clinics, which is one of the top clinics in the nation for mediation. And I absolutely loved that aspect of it because I wasn't fighting. It was simply a discussion of trying to get people to come together, which in the grand scheme of life, I think that's kind of what we're all trying to do, is just find common ground and see how we can make it work, see what we can accomplish together. So mediation was really a great catalyst for where I saw my law career in the future. So fast forward to 3 years, I end up at an estate planning probate business law firm, which is exactly where I wanted to be because it's preemptive law. So you're not fighting, you're not trying to figure out what went wrong, you're looking at the future, you're trying to build, you're trying to help people and make sure that everyone's protected. And I love that part. And everyone wants to talk about helping people. I would say everyone you ever talk to is talking about how much we want to help people. It turns out while I do want to help people, I don't like to use that because it's overused and some of the time not true in my experience. So what I've started saying is I And I'm sure you do the same thing. You want people in your life, you have to be as efficient as you possibly can be, right?
Yes.
Life is
Yes.
all about
Yep.
efficiency. So when I was going through while I was being an attorney, I just kept thinking like my goal is to just get everything done as well and as efficient as possible because people care about their time and their money. And we can always make more money. There are ways to always make more money, but there is never a time where you can make more time,
Agreed.
right?
P.S. You're not billing me for this on the
I
quarter
am.
hour, are
Sorry.
you?
Every 6 minutes, Ashley. So what are we at now?
Okay.
I'll
Okay.
talk
Okay.
faster. I'll talk faster. No,
But
and that's
I think I think the efficiency thing is a female thing. No
yes.
offense to our men.
Oh,
We
I'm
do have
sorry.
male listeners. No offense, but I feel like every aspect, I'm always like, how can I be more efficient? What can I do better? Here's how we can do it. Especially when you're a mom, right? You are a mom. You're trying to get everything done in the most efficient way possible.
That's and I mean you know it more than most with twins, but and I never like to categorize people into any type of category, but I have noticed just from my own personal experience, this is not a general statement, but men love to start things and never really follow through on them also, which is a
100%.
difficult for efficiency also is we can start really
Unless
great
it's fantasy
projects
football.
unless we need to create a league and a draft. We will be able to do that
We're
somehow.
not in the middle of this. I'm not bitter at all
Where
about this topic at all.
weird, the laundry didn't get done, but 7 hours figuring out your draft did. Convenient,
Huh,
I see.
interesting.
Convenient. No. But yeah, that's actually we have people that come to me sometimes and they're like, we specifically wanted a female. We specifically wanted a female. And I'm like, well, that's weird because in the attorney realm, most people, it's a male dominated field and everyone expects me to be in
Hmm.
some leather bound chair with leather bound books on my shelf, which is, as you can tell,
Yep.
not me. And so it's refreshing to hear people who are looking for that female touch of things simply because of our
Right.
attention to detail of that
Hmm.
efficiency. So if I can,
I feel like that gives us an edge in a sense too, because my industry, insurance agents, the same thing too. I think it's just a no offense to the male. I know there's a lot of great male insurance agents out there, but 100%.
yeah,
Yep.
it's just you want to cover all the bases, and we're the worriers also, right? We're the ones that are carrying around
Hmm.
the anxiety of what's going to happen in all of these situations at any minute. And I
Right.
don't think a lot of males have to carry that around because we're too busy doing it ourselves. So that's
Right. Yeah. Duh.
and that's a struggle that we have and I'm sure you feel it too that there's always this constant
Mhm.
struggle especially as a working mom that should you be at home? Should you be focusing on your children or should you be focusing on your business? And I know you're like me and you want to do both, right? You want and everyone's
It's a constant guilt. Yeah.
always always if you're at work you should be at home. If you're at home you should be at work. And I
The weekends, you're like, I just want to get into the office. This is crazy. But then the weekdays, you're like, I only have an hour with them. I'm not even raising my own children.
yes, and that's which to some credit is probably a great thing. I mean I
Right.
have to give credit where credit is due, honestly.
That's true. Oh,
That's
that's
a
true.
real bad problem, but I like the idea of and I had maternity leave because I was with a firm before I started my own and it was nice to just focus on my kids, but at the same time I wanted to when I'm with them so much and maybe you've experienced the same thing, I am not as dedicated to them when I'm with them all the time versus when I come home from work, I've been working a full day and I'm ready to invest my time in them. I'm ready to get down on
Yep.
the ground and play and
Yep.
whatever they want to do.
You're
And so
like, I only have this small window. I am going to give my all into this small window. I 100% agree. And I've done actually the Apple like focus. I have it set every day, 5:30 to 7. Only a few people can get through, like grandma. And that has been a massive help for me because it's not saying I'm perfect. There are days that I come home and I'm like still working, but I've gotten a lot better it's a lot. It's a mindset that you really have to change.
Yeah, yeah, it's going to be there. But I'm always reading these random, which I'm sure you are too. They're self-help books. They're self-help, right? Everyone, and I
Yes.
never
I got a lot of them behind me.
right, exactly. I never like this one size fits all approach, right? I don't think any of us can be boxed into this fits for you, right? We gotta pick and choose pieces. But I was
Yep.
reading something about how many relaxed women do you know? Like, how many women in your life do you know that are relaxed? And I started thinking about it, and the answer is none. I don't know any, I
Nope.
know no females that I would classify as a relaxed human. And to me,
Yep.
that is astonishing because I can name plenty of relaxed men. And I think that
Yeah. I feel like not as much care in the world that
right.
things will get handled because they have us.
Yes. So I really am
Ding
going to
ding.
focus. I'd really like to focus eventually, maybe next year on being relaxed because
Mm,
we have this one life and I don't want to be stressed. I want the time
no.
to it's always going to pass regardless of our anxiety or not.
Well, and you see it more so than us because of your industry and what you're dealing with. And so I'm sure, even though you set them up, and correct me if I'm wrong, and maybe I'm completely off base, but here you did it for me and my kids. Actually, I think I still, that's my reminder. I didn't add my kids. I,
We'll figure it out.
this is a perfect reminder, but you still can't charge me for this. Um, so, so you set up the trust and you set everything up for the families, and then something does occur, something does happen, and in fact I know there was a referral that I sent you that something did unfortunately happen, and you were awesome, but you don't have to do too much after because you did everything to set it up. So you really don't have to like see something through. It's more of here's the direction. Now you can do it because I did everything properly for you.
Yeah, absolutely. So estate planning is so important. Nobody knows about it till they have to go through it, and that's the worst thing because it creates this domino effect that if you do it and your kids see how easy it was to handle everything, they think that's the
Mm-hmm.
norm. They think if I don't do anything, that's normally what's going to happen. So then they don't plan. But then their kids see how awful it was, so
Yep.
then they plan. So I'm really trying to bridge that domino effect because if everyone planned, then we would never not never. We would rarely be in this fighting,
Mm-hmm.
grief. I mean,
Yep.
after you lose
I've
someone, you
seen
don't
two
want to
man.
deal with that.
No, and I've seen death does some crazy things, and I've seen too many families who were perfectly fine families no longer talk because of death. Parents passed, didn't have things in writing, didn't approve, didn't anything, and it's so sad. And I will tell you, I think we were in a networking group probably for 2 or 3 years together. And I don't know if you know this, but you made a comment about something, and I have been harping on my parents because my brother lives in China. So I am really the one the that's going to handle my parents' estate. And you said, I remember, I'm obviously not going to quote it, but it's something along the lines of just for Christmas, pay for their estate to be done, their estate planning package, because at the end of the day, that's going to affect you. And that, so even if you can't get them to do it, you do it for them because at the end of the day, it comes back on to you having to deal with the mess if you didn't do it. And I was like, that is always stuck in my head. It was probably one of the smartest things that you've said as far as like how to take it and how to, because nobody, I sell life insurance too. Nobody wants to talk about life insurance. Nobody wants to go that way. And but at the end of the day, you have to have the conversation. We're adults now. These are the adult conversations, right? You got to get the difficult ones out of the way. And so my parents are finally doing it. I was like, sweet.
Good for you. But that's really what it is, and people don't understand that is people will be like, I don't care what happens after I die. I'm like, you know who does? The people you leave behind. I mean, you might be dead, but guess what everyone else is doing? They're grieving you on top of having to deal with all of that mess you left. And I
Yeah.
hope you don't want that, right? I hope you don't want that.
Yeah.
So it's,
No.
yeah, it's,
And yeah. And probate costs thousands of dollars, and how long if
and
you
it
have to
comes
deal
into
with
that
that for every
efficiency,
state?
right? Like
Hmm.
you want to be efficient. You want to save time. You want to save money. You want to be able to save your emotion, right? You don't want to have that grief drawn out for years. You're going to do that on your own. You don't need to worry about that and the anxiety of going to court and dealing with attorneys. I mean, I'm a great person
Yep.
to deal with, but I
Yep.
wouldn't want to deal with
Yep.
me after I'd like to deal with my own family, not have to worry about
Right.
an attorney.
Right. Well, and on the flip side too, for businesses, so you helped, I came from a business that we didn't have a you in my life yet. So we didn't do proper planning and we didn't do the proper paperwork. And so fast forward several years, I merged my agency, and you did everything properly because we wanted to make sure. And while it's not life or death, it's still a marriage of some sorts, right? For businesses to make sure you see everything happening, whether it's between lawyers of buildings, whether it's between business partners, you need to spend the extra money to protect yourself, right?
Nobody want that's the thing is that you have to be future thinking if you care about your whatever your asset is, right? Because your business is your baby. You're growing
Yep.
this thing. You're making, it's your livelihood too. Obviously, it's not a true child, but you
Right.
dedicate a lot of your time on this entity.
Mm-hmm.
You should protect
Yep.
it. And of course,
Yep.
it, people don't want to think about that because in most people's head, nothing's ever going to go wrong, right? They're only seeing
Right.
the positives of everything, but it's best to just prepare for the worst and then it's smooth sailing from there on out.
Exactly. Yep.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So that, I mean, and then just kind of to, not that you don't have your hands full. So you've started this firm, which is so awesome. I was so happy to hear because you deserve everything. And I love when you have your videos because, as business owners, it's awesome. And I'm not saying we couldn't do this as employees, but you feel a little bit more empowered. But you bring your kiddos when life is ups and downs. I've seen your kiddos at your office, and it's probably the cutest thing.
Yeah.
Probably raise destruction all over your office.
Oh, that's fine. But that's it, right? I mean,
Hmm.
if I'm going to be here, I want to be with them too, occasionally. Obviously, never all the time. Never all
Right.
the time. But
Need the break.
yes, there are events. But, and then, I get to see them for an hour at lunch. Fantastic.
Right.
And you do what you
Yep.
have to do to make it work for your family and for all the people you're
Hmm.
trying to take care of.
You got the flexibility. You get to create your own rules essentially, right? So as long as you
Exactly.
don't have clients that are in your office, you have the freedom to do what you need to do, and we can make up for it later. Nothing's life or death. That's what I've learned. Honestly, the kids have helped. Like, everything has to be done yesterday before. And I had to, work 60, 70 hours a week. And since having the kids, it's been a whole new outlook. Like, I need to slow down a little bit
Yeah,
because the next thing you know, they're grown up. I don't even want to talk about that right now.
I know. I know. And I talk to my partner about this all the time, and I'm just like, man, time is so fleeting. It's so fleeting.
Mm-hmm.
You think about, I mean, law school was 3 years, and going into it, I'm like 3 years, and I think about it, I'm like 3 years is nothing. Like
That was nothing.
I blink and it's been
Yep.
3 years, you know? So it's just so, and
Yep.
that's my biggest thing when, why do you do what you want to do? All we have is time. That is all that
Mm-hmm.
matters. So how are we going to
Yep.
spend it? How are we going to spend that time?
Yep.
But yeah,
Absolutely. And
that's
yeah. And then, I mean, on top of you opening your law firm, you also then have another business that you and your husband run, which is such an awesome thing. So I would love for you to talk about that because I'm a big supporter of both, but
you are.
this
We
is a
very
different
appreciate
concept
that
that you're not
support.
used to.
Yes, we really appreciate that support. You've been a great support of the nonprofit as well, so that's greatly appreciated. But yeah, my husband, after working in like a construction type industry for a while, really liked to focus on the aspect of working out, of why it was so important, and how functional fitness is so important to people's lives, especially as you get older. So he quit his job and decided he was going to start a gym, a CrossFit gym in particular. But when we were discussing it, I was like, we could help a lot of people if we turn this into a nonprofit. We could, so we started looking at the people of Las Vegas and where the need was, and then we started looking at it nationally, and it's huge, the discrepancy of, we love to take care of our vets to an extent, right? We love to take care of our
Hmm.
firefighters, our military, our police to an extent, but at some point we throw them to the wind, and that leads to drug dependency, that leads to alcoholism, it leads to PTSD going undiagnosed or
Hmm.
untreated. And so what we found is, when we get these vets, this disabled servicemen and women to start working out, it turns into a different outlet. So not only are they getting healthier because they're moving, they're getting healthier because instead of going to the bar or going to their friend's house to do something that's destructive, they're coming to work out because there's a community there. So after he quit his job and we decided he wanted to start this gym to help people, we really focused on disabled servicemen and women. So now we have a CrossFit gym that is free to disabled servicemen and women, where they can go and work out for free, which has
That
been,
is so awesome.
it's
That's so
so,
awesome.
we've had people that couldn't walk, now they're walking. We've had people that had, no one else to turn to, now they have a family. It's just,
Mhm.
it's great to watch people that were so destructive to their own bodies now treat them
Mhm.
like the temples that they should be treated as. So yeah. and
That is so cool. So cool.
and First Choice has always been a great supporter of that, so I really appreciate all that you've done to
Yeah.
help us as well.
Yeah.
So yeah,
How long has the gym been open?
2016. So we've been open
Oh,
quite.
yeah. I didn't realize it's been that long. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
we
awesome.
actually just had affiliate. We have an affiliate now in Colorado. So we have another
Oh, cool.
branded one in Colorado, and the goal is to eventually have one in every state, so that there is at least a gym in every state that if you're a disabled serviceman or woman, that you can go to and work out for free, so that um, you're not
That's awesome.
limited. Because I know, if it's a
Mhm.
Lifetime Fitness, if it's a CrossFit gym, if it's a Pilates studio, it's a bar class, they're expensive, right? Now,
Yep. Yep.
your personal trainer, they're all expensive, and if you're a disabled serviceman or woman, then you don't have a lot of money to spare on such luxuries as I.
No. Or
So
even you guys have the equipment and you guys have the means to be able to help them for whatever their disability is too. So that's awesome because not all gyms have that. They have the legal probably requirement, but that doesn't necessarily mean, you know. And then I believe we're coming up to a time where you have your big fundraiser that helps
yeah,
support this gym, right? Can you talk
yeah.
about that?
Thank you. So yeah, every Veterans Day, around Veterans Day. So this time we're celebrating Veterans Day on a Friday. We're actually going to have the event on a Saturday. If I look at the calendar, I think it's the 12th, but I could be wrong. No, it's the 11th. Yep. So it's actually on Veterans Day. Um, so yeah,
Awesome.
we have an annual event that is it's a team event. So the teams of three, male or female, compete, and we have vendors there and sponsors, and it's usually over 150 people. So it's a really great place to just even come and watch. Even it's kind of inspirational as well. It makes me think I should move more. So, um,
Right.
but yeah, because we'll have disabled servicemen and women on teams. So you'll see people that may be missing a limb, or they have a brain injury, so half of their body doesn't work, or whatever it may be.
Mhm.
And you always think to yourself, if they're doing that, what am I doing with
Why can't I?
right?
It's
Yes,
really inspirational,
it is.
honestly.
It
Yeah.
is.
Yep. That's
Yes,
so
so that should
cool.
be
That's
fun.
so cool.
Mhm.
So I just want, what is the best way I want to talk both about, make sure our listeners know we're going to have show notes and all of your contact information is going to be in there. But Short and Stevens Law, you guys are on social media. You do your Wisdom Wednesdays.
Wisdom
They're awesome
Wednesdays.
because they're little things. It's kind of like motivating me. I do more fun ones, but then I'm like, I really need some more education put in there. And I appreciate it. So you guys make sure to follow them. Is it just on Instagram or is it on Facebook too?
Yeah, so it's Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Those are our three main platforms.
Perfect. So we'll make sure to that in the show notes that you're there. And then also you're in, so question for the law firm is, you're in multiple states. Can you, if we have listeners in different states, is it only, how does the law work legally for who you can help and assist?
Yeah, so right now we're licensed in Nevada and Ohio, so legally we can only help with those states. However, if there was property in Nevada, so let's say it's a probate and there's real property in Nevada, then that shows a jurisdiction in Nevada. It automatically makes it a jurisdictional issue, so we can help with those. But we're also going to be licensed in California next year. So we'll be California
Awesome.
and Nevada and Ohio as of next year.
Awesome. Look at you guys go. Very
Yeah.
cool. And then Branded One is here. And then you said affiliate in Colorado. So
Yeah.
your Branded One information will be on there. And we're going to include the information about what I'm totally blanking. What is the event called for the fundraiser?
The battle at Branded One.
The battle. That's right. Okay. So we'll include that link, that website, because this should be airing before then. But you're juggling it all, right? You're helping with the gym.
I don't have twins, Ashley. I don't have twins.
You have 2 children. So yours go different ways because of the ages. So to me, that's harder.
No, you're a rock star. But yes, everything's great, and I truly appreciate your support and this empowering women. This podcast is just fantastic, and I think it's going to be very useful, and I'm very excited to see everyone that's going to speak.
Thank you. Yeah, we just need a community to come together, because we are doing all the things and it's not easy. We have our tough days and we have our good days, but at the end of the day, I want all of us to come together and just support one another. And we need we're doing it. And somehow, some days I look back and I go, I can't believe I've gotten to where I'm at. So
Yep, you sure are. It's just we need to stop with the competition and focus on the collaboration.
Yep, 100. I love that. That is so true. And there's a ton of insurance agents out there, and there is more than enough room for everybody. And you know what? Not everybody's my cup of tea for personality, whether it's clients or whether it's me, their agent. But at the end of the day, as long as people are taken care of, right? Genuinely, we want people to be properly protected, you and me, in different ways.
That's exactly right. Do it however you want to do it. Just make sure it's done.
Yep, exactly. Well, I am so happy that you wanted to come on, and I'm so glad that I could be supporting you and that we've known each other for several years now. So thank you.
Thank you.
And we'll, again, like I said earlier, we'll have for all of our listeners, all your information in the show notes. So if you guys want to reach out to her, please, questions, anything like that, Whitney is awesome. And so she will make sure that you and your family are properly protected and ready for the future.
Thanks so much.
Awesome. Have a great day.
Go.
Thanks for listening. I'm your host, Ashley Mostowski. Tune in next time for more inspiration and stories from women who've made an impact. Make sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. Special shout out to Little Dog Social Media for making all of this come together.